Hi, I'm Britt, and a month and a half ago, I left the United States and moved halfway across the world to Southeast Asia. I currently reside in Vietnam. I actually had planned to go to Bangkok, but that's another story for another day. But I wanted to make this video because it's been a month and a half, and I've traveled the world before. I've been to Europe, Mexico, um, and just places throughout the United States. So I'm not new to travel. But what I will say is I am new to living abroad. And I've done a lot of research before I decided to sell what little I had, leave my corporate job, lean into my um, entrepreneurial skills, and get on a plane and fly 22 hours to Southeast Asia. I've discovered some things. I've discovered some things. And this isn't going to be a long winded video or anything like that. But from all the research that I've done on YouTube, you get the condo tours and the grocery runs and, the shopping and the malls. And that's all good. Like, I love that, It's good to know that these cities, these countries, have all of these amazing things, amazing amenities, affordability when it comes to housing, transportation. But there's a few things that kind of took me by surprise, and these things shocked me. Um, so the first thing, and I'm a very friendly person. I'm what they call a chatty Cathy. Okay, um, if you're standing next to me, we're gonna be talking. Okay, I love the small talk. I love the pleasantries. Um, but that's about as far as I've always taken it. I've never, you know, I would say I've never relied on strangers during my travels because essentially I was going back to the United States. So, but one thing that shocked me about living abroad, not traveling, living, is how monumental strangers become when you're living abroad. And I'm not talking about some rando at the airport. You know, I'm talking about the cleaning lady that you see in your hotel. And somehow she's the person that you go to when you need help, rather it be for translation, trying to get medicine from the pharmacy, trying to get a package delivered. And the next thing you know, you're sitting in her room on the floor eating a homemade meal that she prepared for you. And that's exactly what happened to me. So, again, my initial plan was to go to Bangkok, but that's another story for another day. So, I stayed in a short term apartment for 30 days, and there was a cleaning woman, Nai, who now I consider my Vietnamese mother. Um, and I've added more strangers to my little basket. I have the lady who does my lash lift. I have the cafe owner. And I'm saying this because during my research for moving abroad and just being part of what we call the expat community, a lot of people think of community as joining a Facebook group or joining a WhatsApp or joining in on an event. That's not community. I see so many people posting in these Facebook groups when they arrive, hey, I just touched down. Anybody want to do this? Or something happens and they need help. And I'm learning, and I've learned that the best community that you can build when you are living abroad, when you move abroad, are the people that are really literally in front of your face. That's your community. Even through the language barrier, even through the cultural differences, that is your community. Not the Facebook groups, not the WhatsApp chats. And I know why we gravitate towards those. We gravitate towards those because they are full of Westerners, Americans, people who speak English. And yes, they have their place and they can be very helpful. But it really shocked me to learn and to experience that some of the hurdles that I had to overcome, the people that helped me were complete strangers. Were people that I just tend to see often enough during my just daily routine of living in Vietnam during my first month. No one in a WhatsApp chat helped me. No one in a Facebook group. So that is something that really did shock me. Um, the second thing that shocked me living abroad here in Vietnam was the delivery system for packages. So there has been a lot of things in my life that has stressed me out, I will say. I'm 36 years old, so I'm no spring chicken. I'm not extremely young, but I'm not extremely older either. But I have been stressed out in my life. And let me tell you, nothing, and I mean nothing, stresses you out more than when you get that Shopee delivery call, okay? And you answer and they're like, Shopee delivery? And you're like, okay. And I remember like the second time I got the call, I was over at the mall. I was getting some stuff for my apartment. And two things. So if you're watching this and you're from the United States or Canada, we have Amazon, right? We have Amazon Prime. We can see when things are delivered. And if you're not home, they just leave it. They leave it on the doorstep. They leave it on the street. They'll leave it with the neighbor. Hell, they'll leave it at the goddamn gas station if it gets it off their hand. They'll leave it anywhere. They won't tell you. They won't text you. Nothing. Nothing. So if you're not familiar and if you're thinking about moving abroad or you already live abroad, then you most likely probably are familiar that in Southeast Asia, they use apps called Lazada and Shopee. Shopee being the most popular one in Vietnam, and Lazada being the more popular one in Thailand. But after you order something and it ships, you'll get a notification that it ships and you can track it. And it seems all well. No. What I have learned and what has shocked me is you get a call and you're lucky if the person is actually there. So for me, I live in an apartment building here in Vietnam, in Ho Chi Minh, and all the packages they're in the basement. And so there's a person there who stays there with all the packages and waits for people to come and get their packages. Leftover packages are put in what they call lockers, kind of like Amazon lockers almost. But that's not always the case. And for me, I had an incident where the driver literally sat and waited for me. Now I'm in the mall shopping, getting stuff for my apartment, and he is calling nonstop, asking me where I am. He's waiting. And I've never been so stressed before in my life. I've never been so stressed before in my life. Ever. And that shocked me. That shocked me. And so now I kind of got a handle on it, but delivery days, if I know I'm getting a package from Shopee or Lazada, I stay home. I stay home. And I mean, sometimes I have to leave because I have to. And I have in my little translator app, not home, leaving locker. And so it's been working out pretty much. It's been working out by saying not home, leaving locker. But after that incident, I mean, I was sweating bullets trying to get from the mall, walking. Again, I'm in Vietnam. It is hot. Back to my apartment, elevator, whatever, trying to get my package because they sit and they wait. And that's very normal. So that was something else that shocked me. And I say things that shocked me after living abroad because this is not something that happens to someone who's traveling for a few weeks. They're not ordering off of Shopee or Lazada. They're not dealing with Grab drivers or line drivers or anything like that. So it was a shock. It truly was. Um, and outside of that, I think the last thing that truly shocked me, and this has nothing to really do with being in Vietnam, it has more or so to do with living abroad, is the quiet. Um, Dopamine can only take you so far. And I see it a lot, especially just watching other people move abroad, watching their story. There's a lot of dopamine those first few weeks. Everything is new, everything is shiny, but we are humans. We are creatures of habit. And in time, we settle into our routines. And I love a good routine, okay? I am very routine based. I wake up, go to the gym, do my Pilates, make breakfast. I am very routine based. I tend to create internal routines and external routines, but there is a different type of quiet when you leave the home that you've known, when you leave your family, when you leave your friends, and you move so far away. And even with your phone, even with FaceTime, even with Zoom, there is a doubt that lingers. And it comes out, when everything has settled, when you're sitting on your couch or in your hotel room and the day is over and it's quiet and there's nothing else to do. And it's those thoughts. The thoughts of, did I make a mistake? Did I make the right decision? Should I have stayed at home? Am I going to go broke? Am I going to be homeless, naked, and afraid out here? And they can get really loud. They can get really loud. And um, I was very confident in my decision to move abroad and to leave the United States for a more affordable lifestyle, just because the US is just extremely expensive right now. And I am childless by choice. So my decision to leave was steeped in confidence. I didn't have any. any doubts. And even so, still, I grappled with those quiet thoughts. And I think that the hardest part was sitting with them and not trying to outrun them, but truly sitting with them and journaling or calling a family member or a friend to talk through those thoughts. Because it's a lot. Moving across the world is an immense privilege if you're able to do it, no matter what anyone says, no matter if you're moving with $3,000, $10,000, $50,000. If you're able to pick up from your home and move to a different country, that is a privilege. If you get to choose to do that, um, but it does come with those thoughts, once everything has settled. And so that was a big shock to me because I thought that wouldn't happen to me. And here I was sitting, you know, background noise for the TV, sipping my tea, and it's just like, what are you doing? Like, is this what you're supposed to be doing? Is this right? Like, should we be doing this? Should we go home? You know, so it was something that shocked me, but what I am learning through this journey is building a life abroad is messy. It's messy, it's unfamiliar, it's new, but I honestly believe that it's 100% worth it. So, I am Britt, and I moved halfway across the world almost 2 months ago. And this is my journey, and I have learned a lot. I have been preparing to move abroad for over 7 months. I have an immense amount of information, tips, tricks. I have done it all. I have thought of it all. My videos, you won't find apartment tours or anything like that because at the end of the day, those things really don't matter. Once you get on that plane and that door closes and you're off, it's all the little things that matter. Once you touch down, it's the little things, which I like to call death by a thousand cuts. So, if you're thinking about moving abroad or you just are living vicariously through people who do, I hope you enjoy my videos and my future ones because I will be posting more, and I hope to see you in the next one.